What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new episode of TAETRO Talks. Happy Tuesday. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in both on my channel and on the 343 Labs channels. Welcome. We have a really good interview for you today. We've had a few good interviews the past couple weeks, so it's been good. Really great producer, DJ, label owner, artist for you today. Before we get too deep into it, though, I want to say thank you all so much for 10,000 subscribers over on the 343 Labs YouTube channel. That was a big milestone for us, and we're starting to plan like what kind of content can we do to celebrate, like maybe some live performances from instructors, or we're open to suggestions as well. And if you're not subscribed at youtube.com/343labs, make sure you are. If you're watching on my channel, open it in a new tab because we're returning for an all new season of 343 TV. And today marks the beginning of that new season. Of course, I'll be continuing with TAETRO Talks on Tuesdays. We've got DJ producer Louis Beck on Wednesdays doing electronic music essentials. Tomorrow he's showing you how to make a bass sound with any synth. So that should be a fun stream. We've got Abe Duque with Production Basics on Friday. And then we have John Selway with his great Selway's Techno Saturday show, where he always has cool guests. They're always trying something cool on that show. It's a great time. So yeah, that's 4 days a week of live streams that you should be tuning in for on 343 Labs with really accomplished instructors. Those guys are all really, really great, and you can learn with them at 343 Labs. Today's guest specifically is doing a pro session with us this weekend, and if you don't know what a pro session is, it's essentially like a 2-day deep dive with an artist into different areas of their workflow. And audience members today can actually get a discount on the pro session this weekend. The code is in the description of my video. If you use the code TAETRO Talks, you can save on the pro session that is this weekend, coming up this weekend. I think all the early bird tickets are probably gone, but you can still get in on it if you need a cool way to spend your weekend and learn something. We'll get into more about what's happening with the pro sessions as we talk to the artist, but I want to say hello to everybody who's in chat before we dive into the interview. Hello, Dex Hatalti. Ray is here. What's going on? And my mom and dad are in the chat. That's great. Ray Calvin. Hello. Gianpaolo. What's going on? SDK. SDK's got that cool member icon next to his name with the purple and blue. We like that because he's been a member for so long. Nicole, hello. Popping the champagne, celebrating. Craig, Tatiana, hello. Karina. Joseph McCaffrey holding it down as usual. Yurik. Samuel Messiah, Ben C, Seamus. Hello, everybody in chat. Sorry if I miss your name. As usual, if you have questions and they work in the conversation, I will take questions from the chat. So please don't hesitate. Ask your questions in the chat as we go throughout this interview. There's a lot of great insights to be had today, I'm sure. Hello, Skips. I see you there as well. And don't forget, yes, Ben C asked an important question. What's the stream for tonight? Making guitar beats tonight on stream. But that pre-stream is already up, so you can already set your reminder if you go to my main channel page. But without further ado, we didn't come here just to listen to me monologue the whole time. I want to introduce you all to our guest. I already said DJ, producer, label owner. We'll see what he has to say. But please welcome LEHAR to the show. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, everyone.
Hey, cheers. It's funny. You're drinking wine. I'm drinking coffee.
It's typical American, you know, Americano.
Yes, exactly. Well, hey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. One way I like to start these interviews because, you know, electronic music, being a performer, being a producer, whatever, it's also broad, but like, how do you define what you do as an artist when somebody asks you, hey, what do you do?
Well, at this point of my life, you know, life and what I do as a job, it's pretty, it was the same, you know.
Yeah.
Before Corona, I can say that was that I spent 6 years of my life that where what I was doing, it was completely part of my life. You know, I was thinking to live the full life, like thinking about performing, producing, and yeah, that's what I was thinking. After, I have to say, after Corona, after this year and a half where everything changed especially for an artist, because I was performing almost 100 gigs a year, and
Wow.
then yeah, for 2-3 years, in a row. So then I was just not doing any more gigs, and like for all the artists, and these things made myself thinking more about life, as what is life without performing all around
It's a big
gigs.
question.
Yes, and I discovered that I feel I'm an artist not only if I perform around the world or when I play. I'm an artist. The way I live is like I feel an artist even if I'm not. I feel like that I am a DJ and a producer even if I'm not performing away.
Yeah.
And I discovered more that I can enjoy time staying home, time staying in studio without being stressed to make a production, to test it immediately on the road.
Right.
Sometimes we were too focused on running, on performing, that you don't focus about your life. And now I'm kind of I kind of divided this thing, and now I can recognize myself when I'm home, and I'm a kind of LEHAR, and when I'm outside, I'm the same LEHAR, but in a different way. I'm enjoying more going out, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying more performing. Uh, Back in the days, it looked also obvious, but in the end, it was not,
Right.
Uh, um,
So do you feel like COVID or the quarantine was like kind of a forcing mechanism for you to maybe take a step back and look at things differently?
I can't say apparently it was a year and a half, and
Yeah.
also in a year and a half, people learn many things, have many experiences that grow, changed, So I think maybe I of course I changed in this year and a half. Of course I grow. Of course I learn many other things, and I can say that I appreciate the way I am as an artist in this way. It's everything more calm. I think more. I enjoy more time working from home on the music, working with my team on the label side, working with the people I love on my things
Yeah.
and on other things. And also I'm more concentrated on other people's things, because back in the days it was all about myself, so when you just turn the brake a little bit and start thinking about yourself a little bit, it's good. Of course I would never do a year and a half like this anymore.
Right.
um,
We never
but
ask for it, but you made the most
no,
of it.
you never asked
Yeah.
for these kind of things. But I think from all the shit that came over, in the end, I have to say that thanks to the people around me and thanks to myself, I understood that. I understood many things about myself and about my life and about the life that I would love to have.
Yeah. That's awesome. And it sounds like there's been a huge evolution for you over time. I want to maybe go back in time a little bit though, and go back to how did you get into all this electronic music and doing what you do now? Like, where did it all start? Where was the seed planted, I guess?
Well, I am a doctor in marketing. So I was studying, I graduated when I was 24, now I'm 37. I graduated in marketing and public relations. Then I started to work in an office for a few years, and I thought that this was kind of the thing I wanted to do, even if from the other side I had always the inside of me this little layer that
Yeah.
was telling me like maybe you should try to give a chance
Yeah.
to DJ, to be a producer in your life, And I have to say, after 3-4 years working in an office, I was not satisfied. And then I say, all right, I'm going to I want to to do something, you know. I want to give it the music a chance to become, you know, part of my life. So I decided to quit the job. And as I what I want to say is that I wasn't studying music
Yeah.
when I was young. I didn't have any guru that taught me, you know, what I learned so far. What I wanted to say is that I gave to the music the chance to come into my life, and I was really, really, really sure about this, that I wanted to try, you know.
Yeah.
What I did is it was just working hard and trying to learn everything from scratch, because even if I was a vinyl collector, yes, I was kind of playing with vinyls, but to be a rookie, to become an international DJ and producer is completely different.
Of course.
It
Yeah.
took years of work, and everything, and it's I'm still learning, and I will learn until the end of my life. So it's a process that takes patience, like everything, you know.
Yeah.
If I want to be a pilot tomorrow, of a Boeing pilot, yes, I can do it. Just I need a lot of sacrifices. I need a lot of work,
Yeah.
and it can come out, you know.
Did
So
you?
what I wanted to bring my experience to the people that is listening to us, or that is going to follow also the master session. If I became what I became, everybody can become like an artist and a DJ. But of course, you have to be patient. You have to be motivated. You have to work hard. Nothing comes from the stars, you know. Nothing
Of
comes
course.
from the sky. So what I did was a lot of work, a lot of work, like 6 to 12 hours a day, every day, trying to learn how to mix. Because in the beginning, I was just learning better to be a better DJ.
Yeah.
And then I was playing all around the gigs, you know, around my city, the city I live. I live in Treviso, which is a tiny city in the northeast of Italy, close to Venice. So I was playing, you know, at the first gig at the bar, the first gig at the bigger bar, and then the bigger part of the bigger bar. And then I started the first gig at the club. You know,
so you worked your way up.
Yeah, you know, everyone has to start from a small room, you know, from something. No one started to be someone in a job from the highest position, you know.
Right.
Part of the game. It's good.
Of course. I wonder, like, because you started, I mean, electronic music, DJing, producers, like, everybody's starting so much younger now. Did you ever have any doubts? Like, you already had a career. Like, did you ever feel like you wanted to stick to that safety net, or any doubts about, like, you were too late? Or because I hear a lot of people like that in our chats that say, is it too late for me?
Yes. But this is just something that is inside of you. Because, for example, also when I was when I met Musumeci for the first time, it was 7 years ago, and he's 10 years older than me. Mauro, which has a 30 years experience in the electronic business, but when I met him, he was not DJing or performing anymore. It was kind of stopped, you know. This kind of it was not into the producer and the DJ business. So when we were together, he kind of felt motivated, and we decided to start again. He decided to start again.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can start when you are young, but then in life is so long that you have many things that can happen. Yeah, I started when I was 28, which is kind of late. But what do you mean late?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
what is early? What's late?
Exactly.
These are just dogmas that society wants you to to think, I believe, because, oh, you didn't study music, how can you do this? Oh, you didn't do this, how can you do this? I mean, what? If you didn't study music when you are a child, you can't do this, because life, when after 20, 25 years old, it's finished. You can learn, you can do everything you want until you die.
Yes.
So when I was 28, I was okay. Of course, I had this ghost inside of me saying, okay, maybe it's going to be too, maybe it's late. It's your last chance, you know. Oh, okay, yes. But then I gave everything everything I had, and in the end, it looks like it works. You know, it worked.
Totally. And I love that organic way you said it's spending 6 to 12 hours a day on the laptop, and then it's working your way up in the small bars and then the bigger clubs. Yeah.
It's a thing that you have to do, you know. Sometimes I see kids that they are starting, you know, and they want so much, you know, I think that it looks like not so cool to start from the beginning, from playing a good warm up for a DJ or something. They wanted to start from the pedestal immediately, you know.
Yep.
There's a long way, you know. You need to be ready to. Even now, I am ready to learn from everyone, you know, because you learn from everyone, and you need to be ready for this, especially in our job, you know.
It sounds like there's no room for ego. It sounds like there's no room for ego. You can't have a big head.
And I have a big ego. I try to control it, you know. But yeah, of course, you need to understand. You need to be a humble guy. You need to understand that it's a long way. You need to enjoy, because I was enjoying when my first gig was in a small bar. I was the happiest person in the world. It was much better than when I was, you know, in the office working for a big salary, but I was not enjoying it at all.
Right, that's huge.
So happy, you know, to play for 50 euro, you know, but I was so happy to share my emotions with people to get these emotions back from them, you know. This was the main point of what I wanted to do. This made me feel alive, you know. And when I started to make music, the point was not about success, not about money, not about fame, not about any of these things. Because when I started, I was only thinking about enjoying what I was doing.
Yeah.
Playing music, enjoying, playing for the people. I love to be a DJ. I'm a DJ inside, and I love to be a DJ. This is what I was doing. Then I realized that I was seeing myself in a bigger, in a wider screen, you know, in a bigger screen. Like for me, it was too small to play for just for the people around of my area. Yeah. So I was thinking, and I was trying to understand how it was possible to try to perform and traveling the world, you know, which is the most beautiful thing, because nowadays it's also limited to think about to be an Italian DJ or something like a Venetian DJ or Neapolitan DJ or Londonish DJ or Paris DJ, which is totally okay, or Berlin DJ. But in 1 hour playing, we can tour almost all Europe, you know. With 3 hour playing, we can go to another continent from where I am. So totally. People likes to travel, you know, and you know, I was trying to understand and realize how it can be, what could have been the key to that I could have take to perform, to start.
So what did you find? What was how did you make it happen?
That you have to produce music. So I started to learn how to produce music.
That sounds like another reinvention. That sounds like you went from the marketing job to then learning how to DJ, and then it's like, oh God, now I have to learn how to do this whole other thing. Like, but it seems like you were ready to take it on because that's what you needed to do.
exactly, because I was never a producer. I started like a DJ. So so let's buy Cubase and let's start to learn how to produce music, you know. So I took some lessons from a guy here, a couple of weeks, you know, of lessons, and then I started to buy a few things, you know, just to build up a little studio, you know, small studio, tiny studio. And then it took me a couple of years before arriving to have something that it could have been good to be, you know,
to release, to
present
sign.
to the market.
Now, did you use it? Were you able to start incorporating your original stuff into your DJ sets? Like, did you start doing it that way, or did you hold a lot of it back before you did that?
In the beginning, it was very difficult for me to play my tracks during my DJ sets because I was never so confident, you know, like I was always, I don't know, it's still now, I play my own tracks, my own productions, but now, okay, I'm also label owner, and it's different. I always like to when I play, I like to play not kind of my stuff, you know. I like to play other people's stuff. I like to try many things. I like to test many tracks that maybe I buy and I imagine to play this track in this condition, or maybe I want to listen to the last demo I received, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give I give to my tracks the time, of course, but it's kind of, I don't know, I have this thing in my head which is different, because in the beginning it was just a confident thing. Now it's not about this. It's just because I don't know. I played, but not like all the track, and I could do a set of all my stuff, you know.
Right. What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy creating the music more, or do you enjoy putting together sets and stuff more?
Yes, and yes, absolutely.
All of it.
Yes.
That's,
but, you know, when for me to play a DJ set is something that it's something different every time, you know. I never even when I was performing many gigs one after for example during summer, it's easier to perform 5 times a week, you know, but it was always different, you know, because you have different crowds every time, because you have different feelings inside yourself, because you have different vibes, because you want to put yourself on a challenge every time. This is how I am, you know.
Yeah. I want to circle back to the like transition into being a DJ and a musician, but coming from a career. Like, did you have to make any significant lifestyle changes, or like, did you save up a bunch so that you could take this dive into it? Did you work while you were first starting? Like, what was that transition like? Because I imagine a lot of people would aspire to have a similar pathway, but are too scared to leap from the safety net of the job.
Well, let's say that it was crazy, what was happening to me, because in the beginning, when I started to be a DJ, I was coming from a good family, you know. So I was feeling protected from them, you know, that I could have also take my step with having the shoulders protected, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
What destiny, what the destiny had it for me, it was strange, because after a couple of years, after 1 year that I was starting, my family went bankrupt. So I was feeling like completely lost.
Wow.
Completely lost. And without any euro, you know.
Yeah.
So, but this gave me a great motivation, and this was one of the keys, I think, that made me become what I am, because I was feeling that I had to work so much. And I was scared, of course, because if something went wrong, I didn't have any more the shoulders covered.
Does that mean that it couldn't go wrong? So you were going to make it work no matter what?
And wasn't wrong, you know. I didn't go wrong, luckily. So, you know, this was the transition that it took a couple of years, I think. But to be independent, the first, let's speak about very clearly, because to survive and to live with music is to survive is something. To live with the music is another thing.
Yeah.
Everything came out easily when I started to make the first productions, the first successful productions. The first production were on Connoisseur. Do you remember the first EPs were on Connoisseur, which is a Frankfurt label, very underground and very well respected label from Frankfurt, where I was having my first 2 releases plus other few remixes, and I was having a fantastic relationship with the owners, Martin and Alex. But then, you know, the big step went when I signed with Dynamic. Signing with Dynamic, having a bigger audience, joining the agency, this gave you completely another, gave you a business side in music.
For the people in the audience who maybe are curious about labels and agencies and all that, what would you say is the biggest advantage for you, or what was the biggest advantage once you signed on and started working with them?
For me, I was that I was on the 3rd year of career, 2nd year of career, so I was I was a rising artist. To sign on a big label like that, it was something that made the difference. It was something that gave me the chance to show my skills, show myself, show my music to a bigger audience, to perform big festivals, to compare myself to huge artists. And this made the difference, because you start to become much more confident when you perform many gigs, and yeah, this made the difference.
Yeah, that's huge. And what was your process for? Were you like seeking out labels? Were you sending out or were there scouts at shows? Like,
I will give you. I will tell you. The first 2 labels. Let me take the charger for the computer.
Sure. And say hello to the cats for me.
Yes, they are all around. Okay, here I am. The thing is that the first 2 labels I was sending the music. Let me tell you this gossip thing. The first 2 labels I was sending the music was Connoisseur, as I told you,
yep.
And then it was Dynamic. The first EP, which was signed on the Connoisseur, it was sent to Dynamic as well. But at that time, I don't know what Solomon replied immediately, and he was very enthusiastic about the EP. He wanted to sign this, and I was, you know, maybe there was something inside of me. I was not feeling so. You know, nowadays I see people that as soon as a label accept a label like that, accept your demo, you just die for it, so you go for it.
Yeah.
At that time, for me, it was different, because I had I wanted to sign on Dynamic, but I don't know why when they were interested on that, I wasn't feeling sure. You know, I wasn't feeling sure for myself. I wasn't feeling secure that I could have been ready for a big step like that. You know, so I wanted to step back. And maybe I was thinking, okay, maybe it's better to sign on a smaller label like Connoisseur. Then in the meantime, I'm going to produce other tracks that maybe are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe are in the meantime, I would be a little bit more ready to go into this
Step up to a bigger level.
bigger label, and in the end, I signed another EP then on Connoisseur, so 2 EPs on Connoisseur plus a couple of remixes, and then I decided to go for the big step. And I have to say, I have to thank the guys from Solomon and Adriatic especially, because they were always they were patient with me in the beginning, because I can understand also a label that when they want the music and you are beginning giving to them, then you're refusing.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but I didn't do this for an ego thing. I was just, they understood my point,
Yeah.
and then they were ready to accept me again. Plus they were accepting as well they invited me to the label agency, which was another big step, and was an honor for me, because I was feeling, as I told you, surrounded by artists which they were having, they were the biggest artists of the world.
So being associated with those must have been hugely beneficial for you when your name starts getting tossed in with other big names,
And this was, 4 or 5 years ago, more or less. But I have to say, one of my biggest luck was the team that I was building together with Musumeci and Olderic.
Yeah, let's talk about that team. What does that mean to you? Like, what were you building and why? I guess
The team, when you have a family, when you don't run alone in this industry, but you run together with people that believes in you, and vice versa, you believe in them, and you have something in mind that you can, because I was always, dying to have my own label. But of course, in the beginning, you don't think to build up a label, because you first have to learn many things.
Yeah.
So it looked so far. If I think about 5 years ago, it looked so far for me to be a label owner, that when I see myself where I am now, I can say that this happened mostly because of my team, of our team, because of Mauro and because of Enrico. We were always working so hard, so close on building something around us, a team of group of people, group of artists, which we were believing in it. And then in the end, it was a normal process to have, many tracks from one, many tracks from the other one, your own sound. That in the end we were like, okay, it's a normal procedure we need to have a label,
Right.
And alone I was not. Alone I was. If I were alone, I was never, being able to being where I am now. To be a label owner of 2 labels owner. So
yeah. So what role do you think that people on your team fill? Like, are there things that you are just not, like they have different strengths than you, and they kind of fill in those gaps? Or are there things you would rather not do, or things you need to spend more time doing? Like, what roles does everybody play?
Everybody in the I think roles change as well. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Roles change. In the beginning, for example, Mauro, I was the guy that was signing the demos, the first demos. Mauro was the guy that was, because of his experience on a vinyl shop, he was also having the relationship with the distributors, all these things, Enrico as well. So then I see now that after a couple of years of experience, I know how to do some things that I was not able to do before, and then vice versa, you know. So people knows that we are a team, so everything is different. Everything changed, you know. So we filled the gaps, absolutely, that we had. I felt my gaps, and Enrico as well, and Mauro as well. And it's nice to see that also there is always this the the respect between us, you know, about how you have to work, how you have to do things, how everyone does things. Because I have a workflow different from Mauro, but I have to respect it, and vice versa. I have a workflow different from Enrico, and vice versa. He has to respect this, and I have to respect his workflow. It's nice for me. It was also the first I was working in the office, as I told you, so I was kind of, you know, used to work with other people. But, it was different because it's something that it's yours, you know. So
I wonder how, and I see a lot of questions in chat. Thank you all so much for dropping questions. I'm going to do we'll do like a rapid fire at the end where I'll take all your questions. So I might ask you to retype them again, but thank you for all the questions. And it seems like people actually like, Luca says, learn from this guy. Like, you're getting a lot of love in the chat, by the way. So just letting you know that.
Yeah, how can I will check now.
And I'll say, while we're taking this little break here, that if you are enjoying this chat, that LEHAR has a pro session this weekend that you can take, and we'll get into a little bit about like what's going to happen during that pro session. But right now we're talking all about like the background, like where you came from and like your philosophy and all that. And during the pro session, LEHAR will be getting into, like, you'll be opening up the door, getting into the making the music, like the technical side of things. So if you are interested in that, the link is in the description of my YouTube stream. So if you are there, and then you can also save with the code TAETRO Talks. So if you are interested and you want to do something cool this weekend, it's definitely worth it. So check out the link in the description of my video. If you're watching on 343 Labs, you can just head to my channel if it's not in that description. But thank you. Or maybe it will get dropped in the chat. But yeah, I see lots of positivity, lots of awesome stuff in the chat. So thank you all. One thing I wanted to ask was about this, like, it seems like first of all, you're very ambitious, obviously, but it seems like your brain has to operate in multiple ways. Like, what are you enjoying more right now? Like the business side with the label, or the artist side, or the two have to go together? It's like yin and yang.
It's a yin and yang. Yes, it's something that goes together. Of course, I love so much to perform. Of course, I love so much to you know, it's different. It's different when you perform. Of course, you have a boom of adrenaline. You have the fact that you travel, you meet people, which is all around, you know, which is all about this you show your music, and people gives back love, and blah blah blah, and it's amazing, you know. But you know, it's nice also to work from the labels. It's also to work it. Also, it's nice the office work, you know.
Right.
Office, your office, you know, the label office.
Yeah.
Because you sign music, it's something a little bit more. It's a little wiser, because you have to think about many things. What kind of music you want to sign? What kind of music direction you want to give to the labels? What kind of music direction you think you should go? And you know, it's very, and also this is exciting, you know.
Yeah, it's a different level of creativity. It's still creativity, though.
Different level of creativity, exactly, and it's a different level of excitement.
Yeah, for sure. I know I was just alluding to it when I was talking to the chat, but do you want to give a brief like preview, or talk about like what's going to happen with the pro session this weekend, and what your approach to that is, and what you'll be focusing on? And we can talk about your musical process too. We haven't even gotten into all that too. So let's
you know, I'll be very clear. I'm going to be very, very, very clear. I don't want to be a nerd, you know. I just want to be the people I just wanted to show everything I learned during these years. I will show everything I learned, mostly because in 2 hours, 4 hours, I can't show everything. But
Right.
mostly, I'm trying to be very simple, very easy, very. It, it it can be easy for a rookie, to learn and to understand, trying to understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to be this nerd, also because I'm not a sound engineer or something, that you need to be very focused or an expert to follow. I'm just saying, I'm just giving my experience, how I do, how I produce music, how I learn, uh, what kind of skills I use, what kind of VST I use. It's going to be very, very sincere talk. I'm going to show how I do, how I work, how I produce.
Yeah.
It's going to be just 100% the truth, and in the easiest way for people to enjoy and to understand.
So it's
Because
accessible. That's great.
I would love to do something. I would love that if I follow a masterclass, has to be something that everyone can follow.
Right. We had a question from Ryan Rollins on Facebook about what software might you be using.
Cubase 11.
And is that your main software that you use? Your main music creation software?
I only use Cubase since the beginning, and I like the workflow I have with this, and I can only use Cubase 11.
I feel like that's pretty rare. Do you feel like an outsider?
Huh?
I feel like that's pretty rare. Do you feel like an outsider or anything? I feel like with everybody that has moved to either like
I was I know I am one of the few that use the Cubase. Mostly they use Logic or Ableton, but I don't know how to use Ableton and Logic because I never tried. So
right.
I feel good. I felt good since the first time with Cubase, and I stick on that.
I think what's amazing is like what I tell people all the time. They're always asking, "What's the best DAW? What's the best software?" And it just there is no best, like if you can do what you do on Cubase, I think it's safe to say anybody can make the best of whatever they have. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a musician. You don't have to be an expert of frequencies or whatever to make music. Nowadays, softwares are so easy. Everything's so easy. You just need to understand what's your workflow, understand what you want to do, understand what kind of music you want to do, what does it mean to make this kind of music for you, and that's it.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, do you feel what you'll be going over in the pro session in your process, like it probably transcends like all software. A lot of your process, a lot of it is just can be translated across as long as you're making music, it doesn't really matter what software you're using.
At all. Of course, I can tell you that Cubase, it's a very good DAW and helps you a lot because it sounds really, really, really nice. And especially for me that I'm not a sound engineer, helped me a lot. I discovered this during the year. For example, Ableton it's easier to use, but it's much more difficult to make your music sounds good.
Interesting. And why do you think Cubase has that edge? What about it?
It's part of the software thing. It makes it is kind of it gives to the stems already a mix,
Right.
that you already feel a little bit safer. It's a great software, and of course, it's one of the oldest. And I feel good. It's very good with MIDI. Even if I'm not a musician, I heard that it's one of the few softwares which musicians love.
Yeah.
Especially people that works also not only in electronic music, but from what I learned from the beginning, I'm stick to that, and for me it's very easy, and yeah,
That's awesome.
I like it. Yes.
Yeah, I've read like your bio on a couple sites, and it always references emotion, and I wonder, how do you incorporate emotion into your music? I mean, I think everybody is pretty much knows that electronic music can indeed be emotional and can indeed feel organic, but I think there's some out there still that might feel like electronic music is a little bit cold. So emotion is important for you in your music?
Always very important. I think the thing that gives emotions to my music and to electronic music are melodies.
Yeah.
Uh, um, Groove, a nice groove can give you, of course, emotions. But what I found out for that is the key for me is melodies. So also me, when I start, for example, uh, a track, sometimes I start not from the groove, I start from the melodies. You know,
Right.
I started from melodies. I start from a nice. Um, from a nice pad, from a nice bass line sometimes, uh, because I need to feel a little bit of melodic side. And for example, when I have to decide if I have to accept a remix or not, the voice, it's pretty important, because if I hear a nice voice, nice lyrics, and I'm immediately, touched by them, I feel, which is everything easier for me. That can be very easy for me because I am more on this side.
Yeah.
Still I feel that I have many things to understand and to learn on the groove side, because it's the part that I like less.
Yeah.
to,
Okay.
you know.
I wonder, how would you describe your approach to making melodies, like making those emotional melodies? It's a tough question.
It's just very, very, very spontaneous, Tetro. I am if I first I'm going into sounds. I try to find a sound that gives in that represent in that moment the emotions I have inside and I want to explain. And when I feel a nice sound, I just let myself go, and try to play something, and in the end it came out something, and then I try to add another sound which I like and fits, and
It's very natural.
it's very natural. I always keep it natural. For example, it's so natural that, for example, when I speak with Mauro Musumeci, or when we were working together, he was also impressed, even if he had a lot of experience, because some people that has another approach. Some other people, for example, listen to something and they are like, oh, I would love to do something like that. I always kept the distance from this kind of approach, because it gave me confusion,
Interesting. So you don't ever want to be like mimicking something else.
Exactly, because maybe because I don't know how to do it, but I know how to make it something from scratch.
Yeah.
I don't like, I don't like to. Of course, inspiration is something that I have inside. If I listen 1 hour of, I don't know, deep house, or Mr. Finger, for example, even if I'm not trying to imitate or trying to taking in that kind of bass line from him, but I have it inside, and maybe it came out at one moment in the process. But I prefer, just to enjoy, because in the end, it's something that I choose to do, and I want to enjoy. If it has to be something like you need to force, I don't like.
It seems like that's your number one priority. You have to be enjoying it. Like you have to be having fun.
Yeah, I lose like the romantic side.
Right. Well, that makes total sense. I'm going to start pulling some questions from the chat. So folks that are in chat, If you already typed a question, feel free to retype it because I probably missed it. But I'm going to jump back to this one from Gianpaolo, who says, in this period of COVID-19,
Now, Gianpaolo.
Gianpaolo,
Yeah, I think
how do you think electronic music will evolve, like out of this COVID-19 pandemic quarantining era?
it's a nice questions, but
It's deep.
I think, as you see, as we can see, from what we feel, many things will change, many other will remain the same. Many clubs will disappear, many parties will. The thing is that, listen, I have not the truth because I am a worker of electronic music, but I'm not, Nostradamus, so I don't know how to say how to. I can only have feelings. So the thing and the idea was that in 2019, electronic music business was on a rise, which was unbelievable. Okay? The music business was rising. If you think about Ibiza, the number of parties happening every day, parties in the night, parties in the day, parties in the beach, parties in the villas. It was huge. So this pandemic, it was like a break, and the Ibiza is just an example,
right?
Worldwide, it was just too much, too many, because the request was high.
You think it was oversaturated?
Oh, why Ibiza is not opening? Because to reach the break-even point of the parties, if Ibiza was made in 2019 to be successful for, I don't know, I just made that for 10 millions of visitors. If you want to nowadays, they say, no, we can't have 10 million people because of COVID. We have to make 1 million. How can you open? Nobody will reach the break because you have too many hotels, too many restaurants, too many parties, too many clubs.
They overbuilt it.
Huge clubs.
Yeah.
Huge. We're talking about huge clubs. We're not talking about small parties, So this will make a kind of cut, I think, and of course the stronger will survive. Also from the artist side, because many of my colleagues, so I see people that they're completely disappeared, maybe because of their choice.
Well, someone like you who's very multifaceted, I think that's proved to be very important in a time like this.
You have to do it. I didn't do it because of money, because I'm not getting too much money to live from the label side yet. But it's just because I can't stop, talking about music. This is my life. So if I can't share my music abroad, making gigs, at least I have labels, so I can sharing music, releasing music, releasing other artists' music, trying to speak, trying to teach someone to speak about myself, and it's nice because also yourself. For example, I'm a little bit. I'm very motivated, not stressed, but it's a new thing for me to do this masterclass. It's not like going and doing a gig, but also for me, it's a challenge. So going back to the questions of Gianpaolo, I think things will change. The biggest event will survive, of course, but it will take place in a year.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland, Sonar, okay, maybe less than a year, I hope, but they will survive. Some clubs, maybe they will change promoters and they will change owners because maybe but like in restaurants, like bars, like many other businesses that they were fucked this year. You know.
Yeah.
I hope that now with vaccinations and vaccines, things will change. I see Israel and now United Kingdom. Also, United States, they are doing very good
Yeah.
on the side. I
Are
have to
you
say.
are you pretty like ready to get back on the stage? Like, are you trying to do it as soon as possible?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I did already a few gigs during these times where it was possible to when it was possible to play. And it was really nice. I see people that they are dying
Yeah.
to to dance and to.
It could be a renaissance for that because everybody, as soon as it goes back, will be wanting to get onto the dance floor, and artists are going to be dying to get back onto the stage.
It's going to be a renaissance here, renaissance summer. I hope so. I am, I have some plans for this summer as well to have a residency somewhere. I'm not telling where, but
you don't want to give me the exclusive?
No, I would love to, but it's not only me; it's Musumeci involved as well. So I don't want to hear him after the interview talking on the phone and screaming.
That's so funny.
Still, I will have a final confirmation in a week. So just because of we need to be sure because of this COVID thing. But yeah, I see the light in the end of the tunnel, you know. So
yeah, that's great. That's all we can ask for at this point.
Are partying happening in California, right? I saw.
Vaccines are on the up and up. Some businesses are going back to normal limited capacity. We're trending in the right direction, I would say. Yeah, and I think some concerts and stuff maybe by this month, by the end of the month, I think will start to happen again. So yeah, we're trending in the right direction for sure.
I have a tour request for this fall for United States. So
that's great.
Should be good.
Awesome.
Maybe in a couple of months in Tulum, which is happening there. Let's see.
Yeah. Amazing.
I hope Europe will ride again.
Yeah. A couple questions from chat I want to get because I saw a couple questions about remixing. So this is a little bit less like philosophical or predicting, but it's more like and people are interested in like how do you get to make a remix? People, are just curious about that whole process and how do you view that side of things, remixing? Because that's a whole nother level we didn't talk about.
Something that changed the way I approach remixes is changed as well in the last years. Back in the days, I was accepting every remixes. I was hearing something nice. Oh, okay, yes, I want to do it, and I was doing completely another track.
Yeah.
But then I realized that wasn't cool. I like to give also. It's not an original, so it's a remix. So you need to love something from the original so much that you need to keep it also changing a little bit. Yes, of course, but keep it in your track. So now I'm a little bit more patient to wait for the right track to remix. But this year I have a few remixes coming out. One is out now for Ayala on Engrave on Musumeci's label. Also the remix I did with Musumeci for Mo Black came out 2 weeks ago. Then I have another remix coming out on Fire. Another remix for Soma Soul, which is one I accepted to do because of the beauty of the voice.
That's great.
Yes, it's great. It's a nice one. I'm very proud of it. And then I have another one for Soleil on his new label. It's not going to be on Arcade, but it's in his new one. It's coming out in May. And I have few requests for other remixes, and I will see. And yeah, I take the stance, I put it on the Cubase, and I try now to keep as much as possible 1-2 elements as much as possible similar to the original,
right.
And then I try to build up around it. This is how I do. Back in the days, I was completely changing everything. If I wasn't sure about something.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hey, this has been very insightful. So thank you so much for that chat. I want to
Thank you so much. And yeah, it's already 8. So,
yes, we're already rolling through it.
Yeah, it flew.
I'll remind people one last time, pro session this weekend, getting in deep with LEHAR. So if you enjoyed this conversation and you want to get into more of the technical stuff, the process, please check the link in the description of the video. Use the code TAETRO Talks for a discount. It should be a fun weekend for sure. I will be live again tonight at 7 p.m. so you can tune into that. And make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/343labs. We just surpassed 10,000 subscribers and we're very excited about that. We'll have more live streams starting tomorrow, including how to make a bass sound with Lewis Beck, same time on stream tomorrow. But LEHAR, once again, thank you so much and good luck with the pro session this weekend.
Thank you so much, and thanks to you. It was a pleasure speaking with you and speaking with the guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
I hope to speak soon, and I'm waiting for this weekend.
Totally. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you later tonight. You'll see LEHAR this weekend at the pro session. Have a good one.